Hello, welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy and I'm here for a readathon TBR announcement kind of situation. I was checking like Discord earlier today. There's a readathon group there where they just a lot of people post a bunch of different readathons, and then I was checking a couple of my reading challenge and readathon announcement hashtags on Instagram just to see if there was anything coming up in April that's been announced so far that I was interested in, and I found one that I'm super duper excited for. And I haven't done a readathon with this person yet, but we're going to talk about it and why I decided to do this one. So it is the FantaSea Readathon or FantaSeathon. And first of all, isn't this graphic super cute? I love the graphics that she did for this. So this is by Keshia, I think is how you say her name. And she is 808 Book DR, so on Instagram. So I'll link her down below so you can see all of her little graphics and stuff there. And this readathon will run from April 1st through April 30th. Now this is a fantasy, as you can probably tell, based readathon. I did ask her if it had to be all fantasies that were sea related, and she said no, just fantasy. But there are a couple specific prompts, and she said that she is hosting this in honor of International Mermaid Day. Yeah, International Mermaid Day. Or she announced it on International Mermaid Day. But I'm very excited for this. I decided to do this one because it has all month. It has a smaller bingo board, like you'll see. You are allowed to apply books to different prompts. But what I failed so hard for my standards of FantaSea, and I was so excited for it. And I didn't even get a bingo on FantaSea, and I have been reading so much fantasy romance except for in February, and I was like, I need to do a successful for me fantasy readathon, and I think this one will be fairly easy for me to complete and get a blackout on, and I'm very excited for it. So let's talk about her rules. So she does have some rules. She is doing a giveaway, but she said it'll probably either be like an Amazon gift card or a book off of your wish list. So make sure you have your Amazon wish list or gift account or whatever you want to call it in your information on Instagram and follow her. You need to complete the reading prompts and or activity challenges, and then your final bingo board must be posted April 30th by midnight. I did see in her notes down below that you can apply books to multiple prompts, so that also makes things a little bit easier to get things completed. So before we get into the bingo, let's talk about her activity prompts first, and then we'll go into the bingo board and my TBR / idea list. So she does have a couple activity challenges. As you can see in all of these graphics, she does have a hashtag for FantaSeathon, and you want to use that. And then she also asked to please tag her in everything that you're posting just so she can see them. And it seems like there's not, when I was looking at it, not very many people have posted or said that they're participating yet. So I'm trying to spread the word a little bit because, like I said, the graphics are super cute. If you love fantasy or fantasy romance, I think this will be fun. But anyway, so she has some activity challenges. Eat a sea snack. Watch a sea-inspired movie. Post a fantasy book stack. Make an ocean craft and learn about a sea creature. Which I feel like all of those are pretty easy to do. And then there's our bingo board. So it is a 3x3, as you can see. And the prompts are blue cover, has a sea creature, fantasy romance, indie author, finish a series, local library book, fairy tale retelling, non-human MC, and 400 plus pages. But like I said, you have all of April to get it done. Now, here are the books. So I didn't spend too much time putting together my TBR. I did do a little bit of research, but I checked what I had. Fantasy, I searched for a couple of common fantasy words and to see what I had checked out on KU already, what I had favorited fantasy wise on my Hoopla and Libby apps because those are library books, and what just like free books or other ebooks that I had on my Kindle. And those would work there. So there are a couple of books that I talked about in my April TBR, which I'll link up here if you haven't seen that. So the first is April 20th, releases The Alice Curse by Megan Van Dyke. This is a fantasy fairy tale retelling based on Alice in Wonderland, and I'm hoping to pick this up pretty close to as soon as it drops, so I'm very, very excited, and I definitely want to get this read in April. This is the third book in her reimagined fairy tale series. This would work for, at the very least, fantasy romance, indie author, and fairy tale retelling. At the very least. It could fit more of the prompts, but I don't know too much about it because I'm trying not to know too much information about it going in. And then the other fantasy books that I was thinking, or that I would like to pick up in the month of April, it's sticking to my table somehow. It's not sliding very easily. Is I do need to read, like I also mentioned this in my TBR video, the final 2 prequel novellas in the Throne of Glass prequel stories. So that is The Assassin and the Underworld, and The Assassin and the Empire. So these would work for fantasy. I believe one of these technically is a fantasy romance because we get Selena and Sam's relationship. But I mean, this technically, but like once I read the 5th one, this will officially finish the series for me. I will have no prequels, books, whatever outstanding in this series, so it would work for that. And that's the only one that it would really apply to, but I'm hoping just to kind of read it anyway, just for fun. So I don't know how many prompts it'll actually work on that. I mean, technically, because this is the new one, the cover is blue, the actual hardcover on it. So, I mean, it could also work for a blue cover. So there are the 2 books that I already had on my TBR. And then, like I said, the rest I went through my Kindle Unlimited and what I had already on my Kindle for the most part to pick out some ideas of what I might pick up based around these prompts. I will say for the library book option, I will most likely be picking up an audiobook, and I still need to read the graphic audio for Echo War, so A Court of Rings and Ruin, and it's super long, but that would work for library book. That would work for over 400 pages. It would work for fantasy romance. So I'm excited to read that. And then I also saw A Court of Frost and Starlight is also available now on Hoopla. So maybe I'll read both of them on the graphic audio, and that would cover the same basis. However, the graphic audio Court of Frost and Starlight has this blue cover here. So that would also work for the blue cover. There's other fantasy audiobooks I have on there, but these 2 are going to be probably my high priority for a fantasy audiobook from the library. And then as for what else I have kind of going on, we've got, I'd like to continue the Musai trilogy that I started earlier in March. And so I am on book 2, Dance of a Burning Sea. This is by E.J. Mello. These are read and listen available through KU, which is good. And I'm super excited. This one actually works even more perfect for this because the hero in this one is a pirate. I mean, it's got sea in the title, so we're going to be out on the ocean. So this may or may not have a sea creature, but at the very least, this will work for fantasy romance, indie author. And I'm not sure what it is page-wise, but it might hit the 400 page mark. And if I'm really feeling it, I might pick up the 3rd book and finish the trilogy, but we'll see. I might try to pace myself on that. Also checked out on KU, I have The Sea Witch by Rebecca F. Kenny. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and I saw it was a darker retelling with... And I couldn't quite figure it out, but I feel like Ursula is the male, like the Ursula character is the male hero, anti-hero. So, I don't know. I saw somebody talking about it on Instagram, and I thought, ooh, that looks cool. I love Little Mermaid. I liked the twist on the retelling aspect, so I checked it out. So I think this will be perfect. This one would work for has a sea creature, fantasy romance, indie author, fairy tale retelling, non-human and non-human main character. So that's exciting there. That'll cover a lot of different things. Also, I have checked out Children of Fallen Gods, which is the 2nd book in Carissa Broadbent's The War of Lost Hearts. I would definitely like to continue this trilogy. This one would work for fantasy romance, indie author, and 400 plus pages. So not as many prompts, but it's a big boy for sure. Then I have Captured by the Orc King by Tracy Lauren. This is the 3rd book in her Perished Woods series. I totally didn't realize that this came out. And then I got a notification that, oh, hey, did you know that this book came out a few months ago? And I was like, no, I did not. I've been waiting for this book. So this is the 3rd. I don't know if it's final, but it's the 3rd book in her Perished Woods series. I have the first 2 in paperback. I loved them. They're on KU. The first book is Tamed by the Troll, I think, and it has a blue cover. So if you want to start that series, it would work for there. But this would work for fantasy romance, indie author, finish a series. We'll have to see if it has a note at the end of it, if it is the final book in that series or not. And non-human main character, because the hero in this one is an orc. And then the other book that's kind of up higher on my priority list is Court of Tricksters by S.L. Prater. I have quite a few books of S.L. Prater's that I've purchased or that I have... a lot of them I've gotten for free, and then this one I currently have checked out on KU. I've been really wanting to try her fantasy romances. I went with this one because it's been kind of getting the hype lately, and it has a blue cover. So I know at the very least this will work for fantasy romance, blue cover, and indie author. And I think non-human MC, it sounded like one of them might be Faye or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure. I just kind of saw some people were really liking it, and I've been very intrigued by S.L. Prater's stuff since the first Pharaoh Feb, when she was one of the authors kind of promoting her stuff. So it might be time to finally try her books. She has another series where the first book is like a fantasy retelling of a gender bent-ish. I guess it's not gender. Well, it is kind of gender bent, but it's a Robin Hood fantasy romance retelling where a female witch is Robin Hood and her romance is with the sheriff of Rottingham or Nottingham or Rottingham if you watch Men in Tights, the Men in Tights version. So yeah, those are the few books I have that I would like to pick up. I might pick up more audiobooks to try to fit these all in, but I'm loving that you can use them for multiple prompts, and I'm very excited to read all of these books. I definitely have been in more of a fantasy mood. That might be because I kind of failed on FantaSea and I didn't get my full month of fantasy fix like normal. But yeah, if you're participating as well, let me know down below, or if you've read any of these or have any other recommendations, especially if it's like a sea creature or ocean-based fantasy romance. That might be super fun. And now that I think about it, I just finished House of Sky and Breath, and Therion's like a main character in that one, so that would also work. And it has a blue cover, so that's another recommendation for you if you have not read House of Sky and Breath yet by Sarah J. Maas. But anyway, if you'd like to leave me an emoji down below instead, feel free to leave me your favorite like ocean emoji, like the whale or the dolphin or one of the fishies or a piece of coral or something like that. But otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon with another video.